Hey guys, it's me Meteor, and welcome to another edition of What is Kirby Canon? Today we're talking about Mennonite. In recent times, Mennonite is well known as one of Kirby's most famous allies, helping in almost any situation. While never being truly villainous in nature, it took a while for that relationship to form. Making his first appearance in Kirby's Adventure, it was unknown who he even was at that time. Throughout the game, we would see him either helping Kirby by handing him invincibility candy, or even testing him, summoning his Mennonites against him. As you would see, he held the last piece of the Star Rod, a legendary object DDD broke to protect Dreamland from Nightmare. Even still, Mennonite never really wanted Kirby to fail. Quite the opposite. When he was the last line of defense, he never ambushed Kirby or directly attacked him. Instead, he waited and offered Kirby a sword to fight him with honor. This final test would truly prove if he was ready for the challenge ahead. Upon his defeat, we even discover something else about this masked warrior. He looks just like Kirby. While it's never directly stated that they're the same species, it would be really odd to have a twist like that in his origin game if they weren't. All of that aside, Mennonite eventually makes another appearance in Revenge of Mennonite from Kirby Superstar, the only game where he was the antagonist. Even then, calling him a true villain is quite a stretch. No matter how you translate it, his motives weren't necessarily bad. I prefer the English translation, which states he wanted to put an end to Dreamland's lazy lifestyle. The Japanese version simply states he wants to transform the fallen, or full of corruption, Dreamland, which is extremely vague on the how and why. Regardless, he truly had the best of intentions and wanted to change Dreamland for the better, by any means necessary, using his wonderful ship, the Halberd. Seriously, that ship has some insane firepower. I do find it funny they were able to shoot down Kirby on the Warp Star here, and yet, he was somehow the only one to survive in World of Light because of it. Even still, Kirby made quick work of it regardless. As the ship was falling, the crew unveiled their true colors. Captain Vol fled, like the chicken he is. Mennonite, however, wanted to go down with the ship, and asked the rest of his crew to flee as well. Out of respect for the knight, however, they stayed to fight regardless. Even after losing his ship and crew, Mennonite still offers Kirby the sword for a fair fight, showing his true values at heart. At least, until he's defeated and Kirby tries to escape, then Mennonite gets rightfully ticked and chases him down to the end. After Kirby successfully escapes, we notice the ship falling into an orange ocean. Why is that important? Well, we notice much later in Squeak Squad another area called the Secret Sea, which has that same orange sunset appearance. And, wouldn't you know it, the Halberd was still at the bottom of it to that day. We even find Mennonite on the ship trying to raise it back up, which you can see in the background during his fight. Also of note, this is the only time he didn't offer Kirby a sword before battling. Considering how Kirby was clearly in the wrong this time, it's easy to understand why. There were other times the sword wasn't offered, but that was only because he was either under control, a cyborg, or fake, an amazing mirror. In regards to the last one, at the end of the game, the real Mennonite does offer a sword, not to fight him, but to fight Darkmind. And he doesn't just hand Kirby any sword, but rather his own sword. This truly shows the great level of respect Mennonite had for Kirby at this point. This respect and trust grows further throughout the series as well. In Return to Dreamland, for better or worse, he agrees to follow along with Kirby's idea to help Magolor, and even allows him to scan and fuse the Halberd in Planet Robobot. Even more, in the end cutscene, we see a shadow of Mennonite flying off before Kirby wakes up. This possibly shows that Mennonite even took the time to lie Kirby down to rest instead of falling or burning up in the atmosphere. Along with growing friendships, Mennonite's skills have also grown over time. In the initial fight, he basically just jumps around. In Superstar, he uses the Mach Tornado for the first time. In Squeak Squad, he's able to create shockwaves on the ground and from his sword. And finally, in Star Allies, he can use the Upper Caliber. Though, to be fair, the influence in the Jamba Heart was able to give him powers beyond what he was capable of. Surprisingly, even under its influence, he was still sound enough to offer Kirby a sword. Of course, if you attack him instead of taking the sword, we can tell it did have an effect on his temper, as he kicks the sword away instead. Something interesting about this is that in the parallel Mennonite description, it states that Mennonite set out alone to protect the sacred square. People point to Kirby for always being quick to act and causing trouble, but have we noticed that Mennonite does basically the same thing? In Amazing Mirror, he flies into the mirror world and gets captured by Dark Mennonite. In Squeak Squad, he takes a chest from DeRoach and flees by himself without telling anyone anything. In Robobot, he got shot down approaching the Axis Arc, got captured again, and was turned into a cyborg. He's just as ambitious as Kirby to act, but his success rate is severely lacking. In any case, we've talked about everything we needed to about Mennonite, at least himself. There's some stuff that happens in another dimension, or even a different time, but I'll save those for other videos. See you guys next time.